Well, good morning and welcome to Trick or Treat. My name is Mike Mayone. I am your host, and we are thrilled that you are watching our show today because we have a great guest, the one and the only John Archer, all the way from England. And he'll be here in a little while to tell us about his career and what he's been up to these days and what he's planning for the future. A word of just a little apology before we even start. You might hear a little banging, and that's just the way it is with live streaming. We happen to have some construction going on downstairs, so you may hear a bang now and again, or the sound of a compressor filling. But hey, that's just the way it is. So welcome to Trick or Treat. If you're joining us, as I said just now, we do have John Archer coming up in a little bit. But before that, we want to do a little bit of the silly stuff that we start our show with all the time. Yes, it's time for Brain Candy. That's the work of Scott Franz and Geoff Williams. They did a DVD some time back with little vignettes of magic. Magic that had to be performed in one and videotaped in one continuous take with no camera tricks, and they're great. Hey, I noticed Daryl Rose just joined us. Daryl, greetings. Thanks for joining us. It's good to see you. Hey. Now for some brain candy. Well, I tell you, we've been looking at brain candy for the last few weeks, and I still can't figure out one of these guys' tricks. And I'm looking forward to getting together with Geoff again soon, so he can maybe explain some of those tricks to me. They are beautiful, and we love that they share them with you and with us. Hey, Robert, thanks for joining us. Robert Schwaber just joined. Come on, thank you, Robert. Good to see you. Good to see you. Here we go. Yes, it's time for a little comedy sketch from our friends Chris Monty and Rich Walker. Watch.
How's it going at home?
Not good.
Not good?
No, my wife is home with her two sisters, Vivian and Lassie.
Hold on now, boy. Lassie's a dog.
You should see Vivian.
Yes, Rich Walker and Chris Monty do some funny stuff. You know, they're just bringing back the old classics from vaudeville. So if you enjoy them, we'll watch again next week. Though we'll have another clip. Or if you just can't get enough Monty and Walker, you can go to their website, Monty Walker Productions, and see more Monty and Walker skits. Hey, it's time for everybody's favorite dead mentalist, Alexander.
Greetings, friends. It is I, Alexander, the man who knows, here to take you on another trip to the world of extrasensory perception. Today we're going to explore the realm of the zodiac. I have 12 zodiac symbols, I want you to select one. Does not have to be your zodiac symbol. What you will do is you will place your finger on that symbol and you will spell the word under it. Let's say you choose goat. You place your finger on the goat, then you spell G-O-A-T. One letter for each symbol as you move clockwise around the chart. So do that now. Now you've landed on a new symbol. What I want you to do is look at the word underneath that symbol and again spell it as you did before. One letter for each symbol, and you will end up on a totally random symbol. Now, concentrate on that symbol, and I see you've landed on the water carrier. Thank you and have a nice day.
Well, did you land on the water carrier? I did. Hey, Alexander was brought to life, of course, by Joe Silkie, a good friend, a great magician, and a terrific artist. And you can see more Alexander next week, right here on Trick or Treat. Now it's time for
Fact or fake news, fact or fake news, fact or fake news.
Every week we have a fact or fake news statement. You determine if it's fact or fake news. If you're right, you can win a prize. So this is the statement today. Britain's Andy Gladwin was the first magician to fool Penn and Teller on their TV show, Fool Us. Is that fact or fake news? If you think you know, tell us in the comments, and you may win this super medal. Yes, a super medal. All you have to do is tell us if that's fact or fake news. Hey, if you like the show so far, I hope you do. I hope you'll give us a thumbs up. I hope you will subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And in a very short while, we're going to have our special guest today, John Archer, all the way from England, and he's going to share some of his experiences performing magic and his time on Britain's Got Talent and Penn and Teller Fool Us. So, but before that, I want to share a little bit of my magic with you. I want to show you my favorite trick. It's the 3 blue-backed ace trick. Now, you start this trick with 3 blue-backed aces. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'll get rid of this and we'll start again. Here we go. My favorite trick, the 3 blue-backed ace trick. 1, 2, 3. Okay. We'll just start again. Here we go. My favorite trick I'm going to show you right now. The 3 blue-backed ace trick. Here we go. 1, 2. We don't need this card. Okay, ready? Here we go. Okay. The 3 blue-backed ace trick just for you. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, here we go. I'm going to show you my favorite trick. It's the 3 blue-backed ace trick. 1, 2. I don't think I'm going to be able to show you this trick after all because you can't do the 3 blue-backed ace trick if you don't have any blue-backed aces. Well, that's the 3 blue-back ace trick. If you're just joining us, this is Trick or Treat, and today we have a great guest joining us in a little bit, John Archer, all the way from England. Hey, You know, sometimes people do some silly things. And today we're going to highlight them. We're going to look at some stupid people tricks. Hey, I want a little shout out to Clemens. Hey, thanks for joining us, Clemens. Clemens was our guest last week, and Clemens, if you haven't watched it, watch last week's show, because Clemens did a terrific trick with envelopes, and he's prepared to share them with you, share that trick with you. So do go back and watch Clemens, and he was a great guest. But first, before we bring out today's guest, John Archer, I want to share some dumb people tricks with you. You ready? This is the first one. I like this one. This one's kind of an interesting one. This is called couch vaulting. Yeah, didn't she do that well? She's just, boom. Yeah, perfect. Now, some people find that a better trick is eating cinnamon. I've seen a number of people try that. I don't think I'm going to try that. Hey, wheelchair go-kart is that's a fun trick. Watch this guy. Oh man, how fast can he get it going? Oh yeah, look at that. Whoa. Now, you know, some people, the trick that they do is that they just very good at a particular sport. Let's say you're really good at bowling, and you get a strike, and everybody wants to congratulate you. They want to give you the high five, like this guy, right? Hey, you got a strike. Wow, high five. Yeah, I think he missed the hand. Look at this. Watch this. Boom. Down he goes. Now, I want to show you. This would be me on a skateboard. Let's see. Whoops. Let's get it going. Me on a skateboard. Here we go. All right. I'm just not sure about the balance, though. Oops. Okay. All right. I fell off. Let me get the balance right. Oh, poor guy. There's a headache. Hey, have you ever tried this? This is a good trick. Trying to curl your hair with an electric egg beater. That's a good trick. Or you might want to try turning your bottle of soda into a missile. It's going to cost you a camera. This is a good trick. To try. Spool rolling. Let's see. We'll just roll that right down the steps. Ouch. Hey, I was never very good at gymnastics, so I would never attempt anything on a balance beam. Certainly not this. Yes, no children for him. Hey, now this girl, she believes that she was good in the balance beam when she was in high school. Yeah, not anymore. Oh well, we can always try loading things into a truck with a high-low. How about this? Yeah, we just get it. You just got to make sure it fits. Well, hey, now this young lady, she's gonna try. You know, you've heard that expression, wag the dog. Well, this is wag the dog's tail. Oops. I think she got more than she bargained for. Hard day's work, loading all these carts into the back of this truck, forgetting to close the door. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's going to take a little time. All right, this is a trick. Try to clean off some dirt on your windshield while you're in the car wash. Let me just get that. Whoops. Ooh. Now, some people go over the falls in a barrel, and to train, they may want to go down the stairs in a basket, like this young lady. I don't think she meant to go topsy-turvy, though. Of course, you might want to try this. This is turning your leaf blower into a helicopter. Do we have liftoff? No, no liftoff, no liftoff. My favorite, okay, this is one of my favorites. This is riding down the escalator handrail. This is a good stupid trick. Oh, we break the whole escalator. Oh, this is a good one. This is like a challenge, this one. This is grabbing the electric fence. You got to look at this guy's face. Ah! And here's my favorite. Soda pop and Mentos. Now, you know soda pop and Mentos. You've seen all those things that make quite a fountain. Well, this young lady, she thought she could stop it. Right out the nose. All right, enough stupid people tricks. If you're just joining us, this is Trick or Treat. My name is Mike Mayone. I'm your host. We have lots of fun people here today. Hello, Jeff Miller. Thank you for joining us. Clemens, Barbara, my wife, is watching. Yes. We have Robert Schwaber. We have Daryl Rose with us today. So we have lots of people. If you're just joining us, say hello and get ready for our guest, who is going to be introduced right now, but not by me.
I think you could put John almost anywhere, and he would absolutely kill.
He's the greatest comedy magician you'll ever see. Let's hear it from Mr. John Archer.
Yes, here he is, the greatest comedy magician you'll ever see, John Archer. Well, hello, John Archer. How are you today?
I'm good. I enjoyed watching all those people tricks.
Those stupid people tricks. They were fun, weren't they?
Right.
So how are you doing?
Well, I'm the same as everybody else. Just sat doing nothing for the last 8 months. How long has it been? I don't know. I've lost count.
Yeah, it has been a long time, hasn't it? It's way back in when did this start? In April, I guess. In April we started.
March for us, yeah. It's like middle of March.
Middle of March, yeah. Oh man, it's been.
You were a bit late. You didn't lock down quick enough. You were sloppy.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. We, I think we're crossing over a very a giant milestone. 200,000 victims of COVID. That's really unfortunate. Yeah, that is unfortunate. Hey, what are you doing with the time? What are you doing with the extra time? What are you planning? What are you working on?
A mixture of fun stuff and jobs around the house, really. But I mean, I'm never short of things to do. I've got shelves full of books and my ukuleles to play, and I always get something that I can be sitting learning or working on. So I'm just trying to keep myself a bit busy, really. I'm starting going back to the gym. I know it doesn't look like it, but I have. Promise. Yeah, just I think the same as a lot of people, and things like this, chatting on little webcasts and podcasts and videocasts and all these things that people are doing. So, yeah, just waiting for it to start again. I've got a wedding booked next month. They've just booked me for it. So whether or not that happens, I don't know. But they seem to think it can go ahead with me.
Well, that's good. Fingers crossed.
Stood in a different town, just with a megaphone. I think that's what it'll be.
Well, we have people doing things in drive-in movie theaters around here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever. What's that?
Yeah, I said there's been a few of those here, outdoor sort of events and shows, but they just sound a bit hard work for me.
Yeah, you don't quite make eye contact with a person who's in a car
No,
half
that's
a
right.
mile away.
Yeah, and they have to honk the horn if they think something's funny. It's just,
Hey, have you been doing any Zoom shows?
I have not done any Zoom shows. I've sort of avoided them, but I know some. I've got some friends who are doing them, and they love doing them, and they're having a lot of success with them. I've just not done them because I just don't. I don't feel any real motivation to do them. I don't feel excited about them really. I want to have people in front of me laughing, and I just can't at the moment. I can't bring myself to do it. In a year's time, it could get to the point where I'll be doing as many Zoom shows as you can throw at me. But at the moment, I'm resisting. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Daryl wants to know, since you've been going back to the gym, have you lost any weight?
I have, Daryl. Thanks for asking. Although when I see you next at the circle, you probably won't notice. But yeah, I've lost what I put on during lockdown.
That's a good accomplishment. I know I got a 2-inch bigger waist.
Yeah, well, I did. I put I put about 20 pounds on, I think, and then I've lost it again. So, but I need to lose some more.
But
I'm
they?
I'm pretty firm. Look.
Oh, look at that! Look at that! There you go. Hey, that's all right. That's some fine definition there. They just opened the gym back over here, and I know my wife has been prodding me to get back to the gym. So we'll we have to start. We have to get started again. Hey, let's take a look at some pictures, and you can tell us a little bit about what we're looking at. I want to start with this one. I didn't even know which one you are here.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm the one. So on my haunches, second from the right, as you look at it.
Okay.
Next to the guy with the beard, we used to call him Wookiee. Because he reminded us of the guy off Star Wars,
Yeah.
He was very hairy, as you can see. So that's me. I'm about 20, I think maybe 21, 22 there, and I'm at art college, and those were all guys who were studying product design with me on the course. So the guy stood up in the middle. He went on to design a guy called Danny DeUlius. So he's designed a lot of the Apple products. The guy scowling just to his right, our left, is a great photographer now, and I don't know what's happened to the other two. And me, I didn't do anything with my design. Yeah, but that was in a photography class. That picture, I think one of the students was doing. We all did photography as part of our course, and they just wanted to do a sort of portrait of us, so we all tried to look like Grease wannabes.
Oh yeah, with the leather jackets. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it was either Grease or Happy Days that we were influenced by. I can't decide which one it was.
And so that was. Do you still take pictures occasionally, or not?
Yeah, I like a bit of photography. So I've got a couple of nice cameras, but I don't do it as much as I should. A lot of time now, it's just sort of you have your phone with you, and the cameras are so good on your phone. You just end up using that, and then you can edit them so much, afterwards that you can take some good pictures with your phone if you want to. So I tend to do that a lot.
It is funny. We just went on a little hike the other day, and I brought my camera with me, and I thought, I'd take some nice pictures. And to be honest with you, the pictures the family took with their telephones was better than the pictures I took. I was just like, it's just point and shoot, and they get a good picture.
You've got to know what you do with the camera. You got to have all the settings right. But with the phone, it works it all out for you. That's the joy of them.
Yeah, that's a fact. Hey, this I did not know. I mean, I know my friends did that you were a police officer.
I was a police officer for 10 years. Yes, I finished my degree.
Oh, I think we lost you there. You froze up on me. You froze for a minute. Why don't you repeat that? You just froze up for a minute.
It's a little bit jumpy. I'm blaming your end.
Don't blame me.
I think I'm all right. I'm sure. Yes. So I finished my design course, and then I went to. I came back and had a few jobs. I was a car salesman for one day, and I was a youth worker. I was a youth worker for a short while, and then I joined the police force. So I was in the police for 10 years, from when I was 25 to when I was about 35.
But
and those two pictures were showing me. I got a job as a school liaison officer within the police. So I used to go around a lot of the schools and just do PR to try and show the friendly.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes the uniform and sometimes the parents may be a little bit anti-police, so they tell them stories about the police. So my job was really I went into schools and talked to them, and I got to do magic while I was in there. So I got known. A few newspapers used to do articles on, the magical cop, because it's a story, I suppose.
Sure.
These are a couple of me looking youthful with hair.
Now, were you
I decided to get rid of during lockdown. I got rid of my hair.
Did you shave it off?
Yeah, I did.
You did.
Everybody else was getting hairier during lockdown.
Right.
I decided I was going to get less hairy.
Okay.
So,
now
it went.
You did you start doing magic when you were in the police department, or had you always had an interest in magic?
My interest in magic started when I was at art college.
Okay.
So that photograph of me you saw right at the beginning with my friends. They used to. I went to a college called Central School of Art and Design, and right across the road from it was a little magic shop run by a guy called Alan Allen. And if you were his friend, you could call him Alan. I didn't know him very well, so I had to call him Alan. But Alan ran this little joke shop called the Magic Spot, and I started going in there while I was at college, buying little jokes and things. And then slowly he introduced me to a few magic tricks and books. So he basically hooked me in to the magic scene, and that's where it started really, when I was about 19, 20. So I wasn't really into magic when I was a kid. I didn't have a magic set as a kid or anything. I had an interest. I liked magic, but I really didn't start pursuing it until those days. So when I was in the police, it was a hobby, but I was doing shows, for charities and freebies and things, and little sort of semi-pro stuff while I was in the police.
Yeah. That's kind of atypical. It's so many magicians start when they were little boys, or when they were young teens. Not that many. Not that many start later. So now this is you. Did you have a mustache then at one time? I guess you did.
I did. A very, very weak, not a very good mustache. Yeah, that was probably around the time when I was in the police. I was in a couple of musical duos, because obviously I play guitar and ukulele and sing a bit. And this was a duo that I was in called Take Two. That guy with me there is a guy called Nick Haig, and he played keyboard. Very, very good keyboard and very fiddle player. And so we had this little sort of comedy musical double act that did comedy, magic, music, and that went on for a few years. We used to, again, it was just semi-pro. We were doing it just for the giggles, really, and the fun. But probably that was my first experience into stepping on stage and facing an audience.
My phone is ringing for some reason.
I thought that was mine.
Or he's belching. It's my stomach.
I was trying to remain calm. I was panicking in my head, thinking, "Is that my phone?" I refused to look at it. I'm just going to ignore it. And then it's yours.
No, they always call it the most opportune moments. Now this looks like a John Archer kids magician. I didn't know we did that.
Yeah, no, I did. It's magic. When I was in the police force, I used to do kid shows, and
of course,
with the job, I was going into schools as a police officer, and I'd be doing magic tricks for the kids. So So really, that was the main thing I did. Purely Magic was just kid shows. I did kid shows for quite a while, and then started doing a bit of close up as well. Strolling Magic close up. So those two things both came before the sort of stage stuff, really, because those are the easy ways into Magic, aren't they? An easy route to performing is kids Magic and close up, really, for a magician. Stage stuff's a little bit harder to get into.
Yeah. It is. It's not for everyone, though. Kids Magic. We talked to some people, and they don't want any part of entertaining kids because it's tricky. It could be tricky.
It is very, very hard. I loved it. I mean, I used to treat them a little bit like adults. So I was a little bit like my act now. I'd I'd tell them off and bully them and shout at them if they were studying the wrong way. A little bit, nowhere near as good, but a little bit the way Williamson handles kids. I was a little bit, shout at them and push them around. I probably couldn't get away with it now, but I quite enjoyed just the challenge of, them all shouting out how you were doing it and everything else that kids do.
Yeah, they certainly do. Certainly do. But not everybody can take that. Williamson is genius when he works with kids. I've seen him on stage with children, and it's just riotous. I mean,
yeah, he's the best. He's just fantastic.
Yeah, there's no other way to. He's just fantastic.
And in a way that the kids love it, but the adults do as well. He manages to bridge the gap of adults and kids.
Yeah.
With one performance, he doesn't have to do, a performance for the kids and then some asides to the adults. It's everything hits both sides. It's great.
Yeah, it is. It is something special. Now, this is it looks like you in a bowler hat. And was this a character that you had at a certain point in your career?
It was once time I left the police. My first year as a full-time stage performer, I performed under the name of the Great Archini because I'd entered a stage competition as a double act called Archini and Smith, where we did it was almost like a vaudeville escape act. We both had bowler hats, and it was very sort of 1920.
Oh.
I said, "Do you want stuff on your own?" Because the friend I was in the double act with didn't. And he just put me out as the Great Archini. So I still wore the bowler hat and the tartan trousers, and it was an odd little period. But that name, the Archini, has sort of stuck with me. So if you look at Twitter and Instagram, you'll see I'm the Archini. And it was just because of that 1 year where I performed under that name, and it was a bit of a very crazy act, very different to how I am now, I think. But it gave me a lot of stage experience. I worked a lot in that year, but I worked all over the country. It was good.
Now, I recognize this young lady. That's Debbie McGee, right?
Yes, or as we like to call her, the beautiful Debbie McGee.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, that was Paul Daniels comes from the out of the UK, up in the northeast of England, and he's a member of the same magic society I'm a member of, which is the Middlesbrough Circle of Magicians. And when that was a picture when I was president. And we had a social evening, and we went back to, I can't remember whose house it was, but Debbie was there, and she insisted on sitting next to me and having a photograph taken. I tried to fight her off, but she insisted.
Yeah, I bet she did.
And she still looks as good, and I've aged an awful lot.
Yeah. She's she was, a very vital part of his act, wasn't she?
Oh, she was. She was more than just an assistant, really. She was part of the act. Yeah, great stuff.
Okay, and you're starting to look more like the John Archer we know here.
I went through a little period there with a goatee, as you can see.
And who are these gentlemen you're with?
I've probably been at least 2 or 3 years now. So this is an Edinburgh festival, and I was up there performing at the festival doing my act. But the guy on the right is my best mate. He's my best buddy. He's a guy called Tim Vine, who's a reasonably well-known comedian here in the UK. Does regular spots on TV and things. And I was doing a little bit part in his show for the last 14, 15 years. I've been his opening act when he goes on tour. But the guy in the middle, I don't know whether he'd be very well known in the US, but he's a real classic old actor from the sort of 1950s, 60s called Leslie Phillips, and he used to play the part of a British cad in movies like some of the Carry On movies and things like that. And he was in the same room as we were performing. He had a one-man show just before ours. So he used to finish, and we used to be. You only have about 15 minutes to swap dressing rooms and reset for the next show. So we'd be throwing him out, and he'd be joking with us. So we got to hang out with him for a month, which was great stuff, great fun. A real character, sort of. Certainly in the UK, he was a well-known guy.
Well, this one we recognize because we were just talking about him. That's David Williams.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. That was taken early this year at the Session Convention, which is a great little sort of close-up convention that happens near Heathrow Airport, run by the Vanishing Ink guys, Andy Gladwin and Josh, and back behind the stage they had a little sort of photography setup lined up, and a photographer there was taking photographs of some of the attendees, and David was having his picture taken, and actually he doesn't know I'm there. When I just sort of sneaked up behind him and gave him this little, disparaging look. Basically, it's a look of jealousy. I've also probably spotted something in his hair. I don't know, but I don't think he didn't become aware of that photograph until the photographer sent him it. So yeah,
he must have chuckled.
He's one of my heroes.
Yeah. Hey, I have a surprise for you. You didn't know about this picture. We were talking about David Williamson. I bet you don't even know where that was.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm not sure where that is.
No, I'm going to tell you if you can't figure it out.
Well, it must be an American convention.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which one is that?
Okay, that's it was Cape Cod conclave.
Oh,
was Hank Lee was running these conventions up in Cape Cod, and you were on the bill, as was.
I remember that. Yeah, the Dragons performed that year.
Say again.
The Pendragons, but were performing. The Pendragons were performing.
Yes, the Pendragons. Well. Yes, the Pendragons.
One of the last conventions they did.
Yes, it was. And they did their famous sub trunk, and it was a wonder to see. I'm glad I got to see that.
Yeah,
live.
Jonathan did a great lecture actually, but I
did.
was on the Gala show with David, and it was great. We set up this thing where Hank Lee thought he hadn't turned up, and so I had to cover for him at the Gala show, and I went on and started doing the start of the tossed out deck routine. And halfway through the routine, David comes in through the back of the theatre. Were you there?
I was, yeah. I took that picture.
If you remember, he came in through the back of the theatre with suitcases and walked up on stage and pushed me back through the curtain, closed the curtains, then turned round and went, the hearts, the four of diamonds, the eight of clubs, sit down. And then he opened his suitcase and started getting all his underwear out and got on with his act. But, it was great.
I'm so glad you reminded me of that, because I forgot that whole thing, even though I took so many pictures at the conclave.
Yeah, I've never seen that picture before. Yeah, you'll have to send me that.
I'll send you that, and I will send you this one as well, which is also from that convention. And and I guess you were doing a Magic Square at that.
Yeah, that's the Magic Square routine.
Yeah.
That'll be in the Gala show that I was meant to be in, which I think was probably on the Saturday night.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that convention. It was good fun. It took a bit of a while to persuade Hank to pay me, but.
Pardon me. Yeah, he's well known for that. That was a great little convention. It always was.
Great line. It was a great. Bank Caveney was there, and I'm trying to remember who else was there. But yeah, a lot of great guys.
He managed to bring some real talent to Cape Cod when he put the convention together every year, and it was
great time there. The other one I really liked in America, which doesn't happen anymore, was Magic in the Rockies.
I've never been.
That was a really, really nice convention in America. The first ever convention I did in America was Abbott's convention in Michigan.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah, it is a big one, but it's sort of, it takes place in that little, colon, Michigan, and sort of there's hardly anybody lives there, and suddenly all these magicians descend on it and live in people's houses. There's no hotels. It's bizarre. And I remember thinking, are all American conventions like this one? I didn't realize how unique it was, but it was great fun.
It is interesting about conventions, though. They all have their own unique kind of flavor.
They do. They have a personality, don't they?
Yeah, they certainly do. I know that the big one in England is probably the largest. What is that? Blackpool. I have yet to attend Blackpool, but that has its own flavor. I attend the 4F convention in Batavia, New York, which is completely different because first off, it's small and it has some rather unique and interesting people from around the world who are super talented. So that's always a fun convention to go to as well. But they all have they're all very, very different.
They do, very much so. Yeah.
Here's a shot of you just enjoying yourself.
Yeah. That's my favorite moment in the show, is if I can start having fun as well. I can't remember what happened there. This was I know it's a show. It was in London. There was a lot of magic acts on. I think it was for some charity. I can't remember the other acts who were on the bill, but I just remember having fun. That lady there was helping me with a trick, and it just started going all over. All over the place. It was just great fun, just enjoying the moment, So I love it when that happens, when things are unscheduled and take you by surprise.
This looks like it's a television show, yes?
It is, yeah. That's I told you my best buddy Tim Vine. That's him on the left there. We did a couple of TV one-off pilot things called Tim Vine Travels in Time, and this one is where he travels back in time to the time of Robin Hood, and the other three of us there, we're the Merry Men, and you can see I've got that glorious wig on, and I'm Little John, all dressed up in my leather. It sort of brought us right back. I'm back in leather again there. But so we did that one. We did a Christmas one as well, which we had a special guest was one of the Spice Girls. And it was good. It was good fun. So that was I think that was during rehearsals at the show.
How many did they do? Was it a regular series or was it?
It was just we did a pilot and we did a one-off Christmas special. But it never got taken up for a season or anything, unfortunately. So, but we loved it, and I wrote it with Tim. And,
you did?
And we had a lot of fun.
It must have been fun. It must have been fun. So it's always fun to get dressed up in costume and play a character.
Yeah, and also working on TV is fun. If it's it feels very glamorous and exciting. It feels like for a moment you're famous, even if you're not. You sort of think, "Wow, I'm doing telly." So I enjoyed it. It's very different to anything else. The whole process of doing a studio TV thing as it's like no other form of entertainment. It's not, it's a very different kettle of fish, as we say in England.
Yeah, I think we say that here too. That's one of what sometimes we say.
Do you say that? You have kettle of fish?
Yeah, kettle of fish.
I never know. I was at the Magic Castle once, and I used the phrase, "Can you choose a common or garden item?" Now,
a common garden item.
Common or garden item. It just means an ordinary object.
Yeah, ordinary object.
So, but we have this phrase, common or garden item, and I'm not even sure if it's massively known in the UK, but I'm aware of it, common or garden item. And I'd been saying it for about 4 or 5 days at the castle in my show, and eventually John Lovett came up to me and said, "What are you on about? What do you mean, a common or garden item?" So, I wondered why nobody was. They were all staring at me, but
Well,
So yeah, so now and again I have to check.
yeah.
I normally get people like Steve Bedwell or John Lovick to listen to my act and
translate.
Right, if I'm ever performing at the convention or at the castle.
When when some of my friends from England came to stay, and I got this great little book. It wasn't too big, but it had all the phrases that are different, and there were quite a few. There were quite a few different phrases.
Yeah.
I was
some
just
are harmless, and others like an eraser we call a rubber. Now that can get us
in a lot of trouble.
A lot of trouble. Yeah. Same with fag. Fag was a cigarette.
Cigarette, yeah.
You wouldn't go asking for one in America.
No.
So
fanny pouch. Don't want one of those, from what I understand.
Yeah, we call them a bum bag. But yeah. So
yeah, we. I was just commenting the other day that when you invite somebody to come to your house or to your apartment, you say "come to mine," which is not an expression we use here at all. Yeah.
No, yeah. You might say "come to my place," I suppose.
Yeah, come to my place. You wouldn't say "come to mine." Yeah.
Yeah. We sometimes say that. Why you come over to mine? Yeah.
And this is was this a publicity picture?
It was I did use it as a publicity picture, but it was actually taken for the cover of the Magic Circular magazine, which is the Magic Circle's magazine for members, comes out every month. And this was when a really good friend of mine, who sadly died now, but a guy called Pete McCann used to be the editor of it, and he said he was going to put me on the cover. I don't think I'd have got on the cover any other way, really, than having a friend who published it. But that's the actual that's the magazine there, and it's and there I am on the cover, and it's now edited by a guy called Will Houston, and it's a really good, high quality magic magazine. It's almost has a lot of, just had 2 great articles on David Copperfield, spread over 2 issues. A great interview with him. So yeah, it's good. So for me to get on the cover was nice, but that picture was taken just for that.
I don't get to see the printed version because I get the digital version
right
here.
Yeah.
But it is a great publication. The articles are great, and there's some great magic in there. And what I especially like about it is not a lot of a lot of the magicians here see what's in there, so I get to learn a trick or two that's not common here.
And it does have some quite exclusive stuff in there now and again, like the interview with Copperfield. I don't think you'd see such an in-depth magic interview anywhere else, really. I mean, I suppose Genie or the Magic Magazine might have eventually got one, but I don't think I've ever seen one recently with him. So great stuff.
Who's this group of cast of characters?
That was a series we did for Sky Television many years ago. It was called Undercover Magic, and it was basically a hidden camera magic show. There's been a lot of hidden camera magic shows since and before. In fact, I think this was probably a rip-off, or certainly borrowed from a show in America which happened a couple of years before it, called Them, which was I think Them stood Total Hidden Extreme Magic. And that had a huge budget. It was some of the episodes have some incredible magic stuff going on. We had hardly any budget at all, so we were making hankies vanish with a thumb tip. That was the level of our expertise. But yeah, that show was made by Objective Productions, who did a lot of the still do a lot of the Derren Brown. Well, actually, the company's changed now. They've been sold. It's a different one, but they did a lot of the Derren Brown shows, and a wonderful guy who sadly left us about a year or so ago, Anthony Owen, was the producer of it. And so that was good fun. We all knew each other. There was Mark Paul there, and Loki, and Kerry Scorer, and me. And it was Max Somerset was the other one. So we had a lot of fun. That's Max with the hat on, slightly crazy. He hasn't changed. But yeah, it was good fun. We did a series of it. It never went anywhere. It sort of got seen and forgotten. But there's a few moments in it that I was quite proud of. You know?
Yeah. Are your colleagues there still performing magic?
Yeah, everybody's still performing. In their various guises. I think Mark Paul there in the middle at the back, doing a lot of cruises work, or was doing a lot of cruise work. Same with Loki at the front with the glasses. He was doing cruises. Kerry does a lot of close-up work. She's sort of does close-up, walk around table magic. Max, probably similar to me, he's doing stage stuff, and I don't know whether he does cruises or not, but yeah, here and there. All earning a living.
Yeah. Well, I guess the most popular hidden magic show in this country is Michael Carbonero's show, The Carbonero Effect, and he's been quite successful with that show, which really started on late night television. It's just a little skit in the middle of the Tonight Show. I think it's a great little format.
It is. If you can do it in a hidden camera, and if you capture it well and it's scripted well, and then it can be very entertaining, because you get people on several levels. You get them with the humor, you get them with the magic, but you also get them with the situation and the heartfelt sort of emotion that can happen. Sometimes people can feel very emotional when magic happens in front of them and they don't realize it's magic. So you've got like it's a three-pronged attack. It's a great little format for shows. I'm surprised. I suppose it got slightly out over here. There was quite a few different variations of it, and it maybe just got a little bit overdone.
Mm-hmm. Now this is a picture of you on stage. Let's see. Yeah, there it is.
Ah, yes, that's me emceeing a show at Tyneside Magic Festival. There's a lovely little convention that happens in the UK. You said they all have different personalities. There's one that happens in South Tyneside, which is a little sort of almost like a fishing village in the northeast of England. Not really a village, a small town. It's probably more accurate. Mm-hmm. And it's called South Tyneside International Magic Festival. And it's unique because the local town council helped fund it. And during the week, a lot of the acts who were booked for the convention performed just for the public in various shows at theatres and schools and open air events and street shows. And then at the end of that, I think it's a week or 2 week period, all the magicians get together and have a little convention. And it has about 140 registrants. And it's just a really nice, relaxed, fun atmosphere. Feels very intimate and friendly. But it's a nice little theatre. It has a 400-seat theatre, so the gala shows have the 140 magicians who all sit upstairs in the balcony, and then the other sort of 250 members of the public are all downstairs. So you have this unique situation where the magicians can watch an act working essentially to the public, but they're up in the gallery seeing it. So you don't have that situation. You have a lot of conventions where a magic act just is working to all magicians, and you don't really know, well, what are they like in front of real people? But you get that with South Tyneside.
Sure. At many magic conventions, you see these inside jokes that will only only hit a resonate chord in another magician, somebody who's a conventioneer. So it's like you're playing to the if you're playing that to a general or lay audience, it's going to go right over their head. They're not gonna have a response at all.
That's right. It's funny because I don't know if you know. Do you know Paul Stone?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. I remember Paul Stone coming up to me sort of after I'd been performing, on the magic scene for a while. Mm-hmm. I'd done a few conventions over here and maybe one or two in the US. And I remember him ringing me up and saying, "Do you perform for ordinary people?" I said, "What do you mean? Of course I do." But he didn't know whether I had an act that could work in front of ordinary people, because he'd only ever seen me work magic conventions. I said, "That's what I do all the time. Is I prefer ordinary people." But he just assumed that I just had a magic act. It was weird.
Yeah.
As Paul Sutherland saying it's a great convention. You're right, Paul. It is a great convention. And we're sadly missing it this year, but hopefully it'll be back next year.
There are so many conventions we're missing this year.
right.
You know, we the even I guess they're moving FISM from next year. It
Yeah.
was supposed to be,
Yeah.
I guess,
Well,
next July.
Blackpool isn't happening here next year. The
Blackpool's not
session
happening.
is happening till later in the year.
Mm.
So yeah, it's a shame, but hopefully, you know, it'll a little bit of a break sometimes is good, and you know, things might come back a little bit different or a little bit fresh.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, it is. I guess we're all in the same boat, keeping our fingers crossed that it's going to be over sooner than later.
Yeah.
What is help? Help my teacher.
That was Help My Supply Teacher's Magic. Now, for the Americans, you would probably say Help My, what do you call a supply teacher?
That a substitute teacher?
Substitute teacher.
Okay.
So you would probably say Help My Substitute Teacher is Magic. And it was, and again, another hidden camera show. I did 3 seasons of it over here for a children's BBC channel.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great because we would set up a load of cameras in a classroom at a school. We'd go to lots of different schools, and the kids would come into school and come into class thinking they were going to have a normal lesson. And then the teacher would say, well, you've got a substitute teacher today. You know, they're in training, or, you know, your teacher's off sick, so we've got another teacher. And this is Mr. Archer. As the series went on, we started wearing disguises. We would get recognised, and we changed our names. But we would then present a lesson, and we'd pretend it was a science lesson, but we'd make something vanish or change into something else, or we'd make something float, or, you know, I can remember doing 6-card repeat and teaching them a new method of maths. And and again, there were 4 of us. It was a sort of ensemble show, and it was great fun. It was one of my favourite TV things to do because it genuinely was lovely to see the kids' reaction when they suddenly realised they were on TV. You know, and the cameras were hidden, and they weren't aware, and the reactions were just fabulous. And also the reactions to the magic were great, because there's something about kids in school that when they think there's a teacher in front of them, and it's slightly scary really, they will believe anything they are told because it's their teacher, and they trust their teacher wholeheartedly. You know, and teacher's there to tell them the truth. And so when we suddenly said, look, with this new system, you can make something float by using these chemicals, they would then believe that that's how you did it. And, you know, and they'd start asking questions, but can you do that? You know, and then you'd almost burst the bubble and say, it's just a trick. Or you might not say it's a trick, but it's magic.
Yeah. It's a great...
So, yeah. It was great.
It's a great premise. It's a great premise, but it's kind of scary. These poor kids are going to go out into the world.
They tried to sell I think they tried to sell the idea to the US to do the same sort of thing, Help My Substitute Teacher's Magic. And I think they had Stephen Bagazzi as one of the people that they used for it. He would have been absolutely superb, you know, to do the show, but for whatever reason, they couldn't get it commissioned over there. But it was great fun. Yeah, there's clips of it. You can YouTube. You can find a few things. Aha! That's for the same show. This is the Children's BAFTA Awards, which are like the BAFTAs are like our TV awards, a bit like your Emmys.
Yeah,
your Emmys.
We had Emmys last night, as a matter of fact, and they had to do it with Zoom, I guess, or something.
Yeah, it was on Zoom show. Well, our version of the Emmys are the BAFTAs, and they also have the Children's BAFTAs, which I don't know whether you have children's Emmys for children's entertainment, children's television. And the second season of Help My Supply Teacher's Magic, which was called Help My Supply Teacher is Still Magic. We won a BAFTA for it, and that's Anthony Owen there, and James Went in the middle, me, and Fergus, and a guy called Nick right on the right there, Nick Hutchins, who was he was the director. So it was.
Oh, we froze up there.
This swanky little dinner getting presented with the BAFTAs. It was great.
Yeah, it must have been great fun. It's always great to be recognized when you do something unique, something special.
Yeah.
Now, this is something that we see you do often when you perform. You bring out your ukulele.
Ukulele. Yeah, that. In fact, I don't have that ukulele anymore. That ukulele is now the possession of Tina Leonard.
Oh, really? How did that happen?
Well, interesting story. Tina heard me playing the ukulele, and I was playing a classical piece on it, and she used to play classical guitar, and she said I always thought the ukulele was a toy, and she said I never realised it could play proper music like that. She always thought it was just strummed, for silly songs. And I said, oh yeah, and I said my ukulele was made by a Spanish guitar maker, who made it, a guy called Augusto Laprinza, who made that ukulele. Anyway, I was getting on Facebook a few years later. I was getting another ukulele handmade for myself, which is down over there, and I got a message from Tina saying, "If you're getting another ukulele, are you thinking of selling that one?" And I've got about 8 ukuleles. I don't really sell them. I said possibly. I said, look, I'm at the castle in a few months' time. I'll bring it with me, and you can have a look to see if you want it. So then I met them. They came to see me at my hotel. They came to see the show, and then we went back to the hotel to look at the ukulele. And she wanted it, and I refused to take any money. I said, "Look, I think it's calling your name."
Oh,
it just didn't seem right to take money off her. And I quite like the idea that Mike Caveney still owes me lots of favours now for this. So I gave that ukulele to Tina, and she now plays it. And if you see her on Facebook now and again, you'll see her play the ukulele, and it's that ukulele in that picture, the Augusto Laprinza that she's got. But that picture is me funnily enough, that's at the Magic Circle, on the Magic Circle stage. I used to finish my act with a little classical tune. And I used to have the spotlight it used to tighten up, so it would start as it was in that picture, and then slowly the spotlight would close down just so it was like a little pin spot on the ukulele, and then right at the last note it would just snap off into darkness, and it was a natural sort of applause cue.
Sure.
So yeah, that's me obviously just starting to play that tune.
And this, tell us about this.
Well, this is my tour poster for my tour, which I started the beginning of this year, and then it was interrupted. So basically, if you look at those dates there at the bottom of the poster, you can see I think I got as far as Colchester on the 14th of March, and then Stockton is my hometown, which was the next one I was due to do. But we got this sort of COVID-19 lockdown and everything stopped. So I'm halfway through that tour at the moment. It will start again. It looks like it's going to start again around about February time. And I'll do the rest of the dates. There's only about another 5 or 6 dates left. But this was a tour that was all the result of Britain's Got Talent, really.
Yeah.
I did Britain's Got Talent last year. Just got through the semi-finals, but I was very happy with how it came across to the audience, and I was approached by a promoter, a company called Bounded Gag Comedy, and they said, "Do you want to do a tour?" And they set up this little, not a massive tour, but a little tour of the UK, and I just started doing that, and was loving it.
Yeah. I'm going to show a little bit of that, a little bit of the of Britain's Got Talent, and a little bit of Penn and Telefoulos, which
all right,
which.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Great Britain. It's nice to be here. Tonight, I'm going to try something a bit special. I'm going to attempt to predict the National Lottery. But before I do, I need to warm up a little bit. So, Alicia, I wonder if you mind helping me. In a moment, I want you to be totally spontaneous. That means you do something without thinking about it, a little bit like Simon when he got dressed before he came out tonight. Sorry, I'm kidding, Simon. I support charity shops. You're doing a great job. Alicia, if you would please, it's when I say now, spontaneously, without thinking about it, shout out any number between 1 and 5. When I say now, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the power of the mind. Alicia, now!
4.
4! Look at that! Be honest!
all welcome our next contender. I think you're going to love him, Mr. John Archer.
Hi, it's good to see you all. It's good to be here. My name is, as you know, is John Archer. I'm a comedy magician. I tell you that all nice and early because you're all looking at me at the moment thinking he looks more like a builder. I must admit I am laying a few bricks at the moment. Simple little trick, ladies and gentlemen, using 5 envelopes. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the envelopes before we start. 4 of the envelopes are worthless. They contain nothing apart from a John Archer commemorative $0 bill printed on my own computer when it was lawn ink. They are not very nice. However, one of the envelopes contains £100. Exactly. Now, a lot of people are doing more impressive tricks than this. This is a 1 in 5. People are doing amazing tricks here tonight. This is just a 1 in 5, but I'm the only act who is wagering his life savings. Wonderful, Tarek, I'm going to tell you about the envelopes. Now, they've all got something written on them. That helps me play the little game. It sort of helps me mess with your head. You see, the first envelope has got something written on it. Now, this is the only envelope that's got something written on it, even though all of the other envelopes do have something written on them. But it's not something, it's something else, even though it's not something else. OK, don't try and work it out. The question you've got to ask yourself, Tarek, is would I put the money in the envelope that says it's got something in it, when we know for a fact that all the envelopes have something in them, even the ones that don't have the something you want? You're thinking too much. If you don't go for envelope number 1, Tarek, you might go for envelope number 2. Envelope number 2 says nothing, even though it says something, but as I promised, it's not something else. The question you've got to ask yourself is, would I put the money in the envelope that says it's got nothing in it? That seems a little bit too obvious, but maybe it's a double bluff. No. These aren't really questions I'm looking for answers for, but thanks anyway, Tarek. When I read the script, I can't remember seeing your name so often. But thanks anyway. If you don't go for envelope number 2, which has nothing on it, you might go for envelope number 3, which says yours. Now, everybody likes what is rightfully theirs, but this isn't theirs, it's yours. The question is, would I put the money in the envelope that says it's yours? But, of course, you read it, you think it's mine, but it's not mine, it's yours, it says on the front. Now, if you don't go for envelope number 3 that says yours, you might go for envelope number 4, which says mine, and you will notice that mine is much bigger than yours. Get over it, it's genetics. The question is, would I put the money in the envelope that says it's mine? When obviously that would be the obvious place to put it, because you might read it and think it's yours, but it's not yours, because the other one was yours, so this must be mine. Maybe that's where the money is. Tarek, if you don't go for envelope number 4, you might go for the last envelope, envelope number 5. Envelope number 5 says sex. The question is, would I put the money in the envelope that says sex? Who knows? Maybe I'm gambling that you're not the type of man who would ask for sex in an open public forum. Tarek, do me a favour, stand up. Wonderful, Tarek, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to count to 3. I'm going to ask you just to name one of the envelopes. Whichever envelope you name, that is the envelope you get. 1, 2, 3. Sex. You want sex?
Those are hysterical routines, and I just showed the little bit from the beginning of each of those routines that were on those shows, but as funny as the setups to those were, there was some very powerful magic that followed. And I encourage everyone to go to your website, john-archer.com, and go see the whole routine, because they are just a stitch. Now, you said you made it to the semifinals in Britain's Got Talent, but if I'm not mistaken, you did fool Penn and Teller.
Yeah, and also the first person to fool them. That may come as a shock to some people who'll be watching from the start. Yes. Yeah, it's funny because they did 1 season of the show in the UK. But before that season, actually, that performance was, before they even did the first season, it was a pilot. It was a sort of a pilot special. It was a broadcast pilot to try the show out. And all the sort of main magic guys in the UK were getting the call, do you want to be on this show? And, of course, nobody knew what it was. And everybody was, wondering what Penn and Teller going to be like. Is this you always wonder about Penn and Teller exposure, because they skirt that line very finely, don't they?
They sure do.
And upset a few people now and again. So there was all this thing, well, are they going to, we're going to do a trick, and if they know how it's done, they're going to expose it. Nobody really knew. And they were sort of saying, no, we promise that's not what it's about. But, of course, nobody had seen the show. So it was a scary thing to do. Nobody had fooled them. And to be honest, the sort of talk amongst all the magicians in the UK at the time was, well, you can't fool Penn and Teller. So, Teller's so well read. And Penn's not totally, an idiot when it comes to magic. It's certainly more aware of stuff now than he's ever been. But so to fool him was a big shock for me. And then we found out that actually, that they want magic to look great. And since the show's gone on in America, and it's just a great platform for magic acts now to just get a great bit of show reel and perform in front of national television. It was a real buzz to do it.
Yeah, and they've really
do it again. I think I'm too old now, unfortunately, but I'd love to have another go.
Oh yeah, you should. You absolutely should. I would be surprised if they wouldn't welcome that. They've had a number of people come back. I know Sean Farquhar has been up a couple of times. Paul Gertner has been on the show several times. So yeah, and they need to have you go, John. Yeah. It is a great show, and they have been showcasing a lot of magic, which has been great for the industry. I mean, it's really great, and a number of people who we get to see all the time at the various conventions that we attend have been on the show, and a few of them have been my guest on Trick or Treat. So was it a great experience on Britain's Got Talent?
Yeah, it was. Britain's Got Talent has changed over the last few years. It's less mean to the act. In the early days, I'm not sure about America's Got Talent, but certainly in the early days with Britain's Got Talent, there could be, if you didn't go well, it could be quite nasty to you. And they would encourage the audience to boo, and that doesn't happen now. The audience are really warm. The production team, everybody involved, really try and make you have a good time. And if you don't do well, for the vast majority of people, it's not going to be still not going to be a bad experience. So yeah, I've got nothing but good things to say about my experience. I really enjoyed it, and I hear stories about people who weren't happy with what happened to them, but I think that's the minority these days. I think by and large, if you think carefully about what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, you're going to be reasonably well received.
Yeah. Now, it must be quite a challenge planning what you're going to do, because I don't know, how many times did you have to perform to get to the semifinal?
Britain's Got Talent. There are only three levels. You've got your audition, the semi-finals, they're the final. So you only need 3 pieces really. And I know America's Got Talent. It's 5 performances you have to do. So Britain's Got Talent's sort of a nice, easy one really. But yeah, you've got to obviously you've got to think about what you're going to do, because what works in your live act doesn't necessarily work on TV, where you've only got 4 or 5 minutes rather than 10, which a lot of material tends to be 10-minute routines,
And then do you put your best piece first so that you make it to the next level?
Well, it's funny because some people have differing opinions about that. My opinion is best piece in the middle to get you to the final. Once you're in the final, people have sort of decided whether they like you or not, and then you just do something that just is reasonably strong and represents your character.
Right.
Early on, you want to impress the judges and be liked, but you want to be able to move it up a level in the semis if you get through. So that was always my thinking, is try and do the strongest bit in the middle. But some people say do your strongest bit first, and ignite the audience, and then try and keep it like that.
Keep it like that. Hey, the name of my show is Trick or Treat. So what have you got for me? A trick or a treat today, John?
Well, I like I say, I don't do Zoom shows, so I don't have any tricks. But I have a treat.
Oh, you have a treat? Okay, a treat.
I've got one of my ukuleles here. This was the ukulele that I was having made when Tina heard and got given me the one. As you can see, I don't know whether you can see on the headstock, it's got the Archini there.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Which so I had that inlaid, and this is sort of a little. It's a tenor size ukulele, so it's a little bit bigger than some ukuleles that people play are only sort of this big.
Yeah.
This is a little bit bigger. But I thought what I'd try and do, and I genuinely have not rehearsed this or practiced it, I thought I'd try and play that classical piece that I used to play at the end of my act.
Wonderful.
So here we go. We'll see whether this sounds any good. There we go.
Wow, that was absolutely terrific. What a nice treat. That was fantastic, John.
Better than a trick, I'll tell you. You don't want to see a trick. What a wonderful instrument the ukulele is. And it is a beautiful instrument. It's really good fun. Yeah.
I always thought it was just a toy for so many years. And
I think a lot of people think that. Yeah.
It is not at all. That was wonderful, and it's been a wonderful chatting with you today, John. Thank you so very much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed yourself, and I
did.
Can't wait till we cross paths at a convention sometime soon in the future.
Hopefully, very soon. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you again, and have a great rest of your afternoon and evening.
And you too. Take care.
Okay. So long now.
Yeah, I love you all.
Bye-bye. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was John Archer, and I know, it was just so nice for him to join me today. If you want to see those videos, the time he was on Britain's Got Talent, and the time he was on Penn and Teller, and a bunch of other videos that he has up on his website, you can go to his website, which is john-archer.com, and I know you'll enjoy cruising around on his website. Hey, by the way, if you are a magician and you're watching this show, you will wanna look at some of the things that John has offered to the magic community in the way of props and magic that you can learn and you can perform for your audiences. So do go to John's website. Hey, before we close out, I want to answer the question. Was it fake news or
Fact or fake news? Fact or fake news? Fact or fake news?
So Britain's Andy Gladwin, was he the first magician to fool Penn and Teller on the TV show Fool Us? And if you've been watching the show, you know that is not a fact.
That's fake news. Totally fake news.
Totally fake.
Nothing but fake news.
Nothing but fake news there. Our guest today, John Archer, was the first to fool Penn and Teller on their show Fool Us. Hey, if you've been watching the show, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll share the program with your friends. I hope you'll come back next week. Next week we have a terrific guest, maybe one of the best card magicians living. I mean, the guy is just absolutely fantastic. Jason Ladani, he's going to be here next week, and I'm really looking forward to chatting with Jason. So tune in. That's next Monday at 11 a.m. And thank you so much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Mike Mayone. You're watching Trick or Treat. You've been watching Trick or Treat. And hopefully you'll enjoy the magic in your life. See you next time.